Last year, I showed you the Makeup Revolution Tammi Tropical Paradise eyeshadow palette. You can see my review in the description box as well as here. It looked like this. It was also among my favorite eyeshadow palettes for 2018. The palette is still available and costs £10. This year, Tammi has come out with another palette in collaboration with Revolution. It is the Tammi Revolution Tropical Carnival eyeshadow palette. So the first one was Tropical Paradise and the second one is Tropical Carnival. Now, because I loved the first palette so much, I had to buy it. Again, £10. Still available worldwide. I will link where to buy in the description box below. Now, about this palette, this is the external packaging. So there's some of that carnival element there. But apart from that, I didn't love the black casing, the black coloring. Inside, this is the same color scheme and design. And again, black casing there. This carnival element, yes, definitely, explosion of colors, I agree. Definitely looks like a tropical carnival. But this black casing, I do wish there had been a more tropical color. Something like that. Anyway, so this is the palette. And this is what the inside looks like. I'll just show you the first Tammi palette so you can do a comparison. So this is one and this is two. Let's get these slips out of the way. Now this one includes some bolds, definitely. It also has some neutrals and very wearable colors. And, for everybody's convenience, there are some transition shades, all over base shades, and a matte black. Now, the Tropical Carnival palette, on the other hand, has only bold shades, one matte black, no all over bases, no lighter colors, no inner corner colors, no transition shades. They're all, no neutral shades at all. So that one would make a very good travel palette. It has everything you need. This one, on the other hand, is not for the faint of heart. So there are 18 eyeshadows in this palette, of which 11 are matte. Now these are all matte. Now Makeup Revolution has marked these shades at the back of the palette as, 11 of them are marked as pressed pigments. And, some of the mattes are also marked as pressed pigments. I have never tried a matte pressed pigment before. Glitter pressed pigment, yes, but, not matte pressed pigment. So we're going to try all that out in a bit. Before that, this palette, like its predecessor, is cruelty-free and vegan. Now, one thing that I absolutely hate about this palette is that the shade names come printed on this little slip here. And you have to pull out the slip. And then you can no longer see the shade names. Now, this is something that I absolutely hate. The same was the case in the previous Tammi palette as well. This is very surprising. It's shocking, actually, that I've actually held on to the slip for so long and not lost it, because the slip usually disappears and I'm left not knowing what the shade names are. Thankfully, in this case, the shade names are also at the back of the palette here. However, I am not a fan of this sort of shade naming. I do wish the shade names had come, somewhere here as well, rather than on a slip. It's awful. Finicky. I don't like it. So, about the colors in this palette. So, there are 3 purples here, 3 blues here, 3 greens here, and 3 ruddy orange hues here. And some random shades, including a lime green and a yellow. Now, there is no earthly way. I mean, I'm conservative here. I'm not a fan of. I do try to step outside of my comfort zone, but yellow and lime green on my skin tone are going to be awful. That said, I will be trying it out, and if it does work, I will do a separate video on wearing yellow. So, 18 eyeshadows. Let's watch 9 here, 9 here. Now, the first one is Calypso, which is the lime green. That is very pigmented and completely unsuitable for my skin tone. Lime green and I are not meant to be. Not on my skin tone. The second one is Soca, which is what I'm wearing here. I'll demo that, but let's watch first. Now, I've forgotten to tell you, the theme obviously is a tropical carnival, the Caribbean carnivals. So, which is why the color scheme is on the bolder side. But after that, you know, never-ending saga of warm neutral, warm neutral, warm neutral palettes, I'm glad that we're seeing some bolds. The Anastasia Beverly Hills Rivera palette is another example. Nice bold shades. So that one is Soca. The next one is Notting Hill. So this one is Notting Hill. This one is a very neutral shade. It's not, you know, in your face build. Now these are all very shimmery. Incidentally, Soca is a pressed pigment, but you know, I don't really see any problem with it. The pigmentation is ace. The next one is called Spiced Rum, and I absolutely love this shade. That is the shade, my friends, and look at it. That is a shimmery ruby and is absolutely gorgeous. So the next one is called Greens. Hang on, let me just wipe off the eyeshadow before we end up with color contamination. So we'll do that here. Now this is the emerald that I wanted in the Huda Emerald Obsessions palette. Sadly, it wasn't there. This is stunning. The next is a blue and it's called Shortney. If that isn't pigmented enough, I don't know what is. Stunning. The next one is called Destiny. I am wearing it in my crease. If this isn't a stunning purple, I don't know what is. Proper purple. And Destiny is also supposed to be a pressed pigment. You know, for a pressed pigment, that is gorgeous and the finish is brilliant. And the next one is that awful yellow. And it is called Jouvert. Jouvert is the first matte in this palette and it has a lot of kickback when I try to swatch it. That is the yellow that is going to make me look jaundiced. The next one is called Spice Island and is a matte orange. Right, let's move to the other hand now. The next one is called Trini and it is a proper red eyeshadow. Nice vermilion color there. So this is also a pressed pigment, but this has less fallout, less kickback than the previous two, that is Jouvert and Spice Island, the orange and the yellow respectively. There's less fallout with this one, less kickback within the pans. On my eyelids I haven't noticed any fallout. Right, the next one is called Pink Panther and you can probably guess the shade. It's this one. Lots of fallout though, lots of kickback when I try to swatch it. So let's put that here. So that's this one, Pink Panther. And this is Trini, the red. The next one is called Mass. And unfortunately, it has come out quite patchy there. So I'm not a fan of Mass on swatching. Upon application, I haven't noticed any problems. Even so, it does come out patchy while swatching. I need to mention that here. The next one is called Girlies, and it is a matte purple that I am wearing in my crease. So both Girlies and Mass, that is these two, this one is Girlies and this one's Mass, are pressed matte pigments. And you can see that this one, Mass, is rather patchy. The next one is a blue and it's called Bacchanal. So this is the first blue that we saw in this palette and that is called Shortney. The next one is a deeper blue. It's called Navy. Obviously that tells you everything you need to know about the shade. It must be a pressed pigment. It is a pressed pigment. That one is Navy. Next is a teal green called Definitely. Right, the next one is a lighter green called Saint Catherine. Finally, we have the black and it is called Jab Jab. It's not a very jet black. It's more of a greyish black. Yeah, not your deepest black there. So here's a comparison of the first Tammi palette with the second one, that is the Tammi Tropical Paradise palette versus the Tammi Tropical Carnival palette. Here's a demo featuring a purple eye makeup look I did with this palette. So the look that I'm going to be doing is one that Tammi herself has described on the Makeup Revolution website. It is featuring 3 purple shades, Girlies, Destiny and Soka. That is these 3, 1, 2 and 3. So Tammi prescribes this one, that is Girly, a matte purple on the lid, on the crease, sorry, and these 2 on the lids. So let's try that out. So my foundation is fully done because I want to test out fallout on this. So there is some fallout when you do that. This is a dual-ended brush from the Balm. It's called Crease, Love and Happiness. So let's try with that because I have small eyes and a smaller brush is better sometimes. So that's out of the way, and now I'm going to go in with this one, Destiny, with a rather stiffer brush. I'm going to go in with the Revolution Pro Full Cover Camouflage Concealer on the middle of the lids and apply Soka on top of that. So I'm going to blend all of that out very, very quickly. Unfortunately for the inner corners, this palette is quite lacking. You know, the only 2 pale shades are these 2, and I definitely can't apply yellow or lime green with this one. So I'm going to go in with another palette. That is the first Tammi Tropical Paradise palette, and pick this shade for my inner corners. Now for the lower lash line, I'm going to repeat the major part of this. That is, I'm going to go in with Destiny on the outer or you know, the edges, and Soka right in the middle. So I'm gonna go do the rest of my face and I'll be back. Here's another makeup look I've done with this palette. So the second eye makeup look that I'm going to do is going to be red and orange. I want to go in with Spiced Rum. That is this one, primarily, on the crease, and Spice Island, both the spices all over the lids. So let's start with it. So very quickly blending that out. inner corners, I'm going off palette. This is last year's Easter egg in Rose Gold from Makeup Revolution. I Heart Revolution, I think it is. So I'll do the rest of my face, eyeliner, mascara, lashes, and all that sort of stuff, and then I'll be back. So 10 of these shades, as I told you, are described as pressed pigments, and they include quite a number of these mattes as well. I do notice that those shades have a bit more fallout when you try to swatch within the pan. On the eyelids, I haven't noticed so much fallout, but then I'm rather careful. I also noticed that mask, that is this one, is rather patchy upon swatching. I didn't really have any problems on the lids, but then I always use eyeshadow primer. All swatches are on bare skin, so this one rather patchy. I also noticed that the teal green that is called Definitely is also on the patchy side. Apart from that, I don't have any problems. The pigmentation is amazing, particularly in the first row. The shimmery shades are amazing. That electric blue is everything. And so is that purple, and so is this gorgeous ruby. I'm not, you know, I'm rather iffy about the yellow because that and my skin tone don't really get along. I'm also iffy about the lime green. In the first Tammi palette, out of 23 shades, I could use all 23. In the second Tammi palette, out of 18 shades, I don't think I will be using these two. So 2 out of 18 shades not to be used. That's not too bad. You know, usually in a palette there are 4 or 5 shades that I can't use. So 16 shades out of 18 shades, £10 for the palette. And each shade, each pan is 1 gram. That's huge. That is 0.035 ounces, 18 shades of 1 gram each. So the pans in this palette are actually rather bigger than, you know, the typical eyeshadow palette pans. Oh dear, I nearly dropped the palette. So if you're someone who's bored by the launch of so many warm neutral palettes, you know, never-ending saga rather, if you're looking for bolder shades but not, you know, electric hues, if you're looking for shades that women of color, deeper skin tones can pull off, the Tammi Carnival palette is a great choice. This one is an inner corner shade with those greens. The yellow I'm going to be experimenting with. If it works out, I will be doing a makeup look. If not, well, you know, I'm not going to see this yellow ever again. So apart from those two, you know, 16 shades that I will be using regularly, I love that there are color families here, purples, blues, greens, reds, and so on, and you can do complete looks with this palette. I do wish there had been a matte base color, a lighter base color, or maybe 2 or 3 like she did in the first Tammi palette. Together, these two palettes constitute everything you need, really. This has all the neutrals and the more muted shades, and this has all the bold shades. So no all-over bases here, though. That is one thing I don't love. And there is a matte black, though. So those are my thoughts on the Tammi Carnival Shadow Palette. I love the color scheme that she's chosen, and I love that most of these can be pulled off. I mean, pretty much everything can be pulled off by women of color. If you're somebody who enjoys lime green and yellow, those are for you. If not, they're not for you. That's it. This again, like her first palette, contains shades that can be pulled off by a variety of skin tones, which is what I love the most about Tammi. So where to buy, I will link up in the description box below. They ship worldwide. If there is a code or special offer, I will make sure to update it. So that's all from me for today. Thank you for watching this video. Please do give me a thumbs up, and please do hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell, and I'll speak to you soon.